Welcome back, guys. Welcome to the Citizen channel. Hope you're all staying safe and well of our regular features this season. And last season as well, we did it. But obviously last season was an interesting one, wasn't it? We didn't have any real impact away from the Etihad, obviously, with the COVID situation. But there's still a lot of clubs still did match day programmes, which is what we didn't do. But we carry on our match day programme watch away version. So we do a home version, of course, but the away version, we rank them as well. We give them a score and rank them and see if they're worth buying. So if you want to go back and try and find one on somewhere on the internet, you can do so. So today we're going to have a look at this little one. Crystal Palace. I will say little because it is quite little compared to some of the others, sort of page size as well. But we'll go into that in the middle, of course. Crystal Palace away on the 14th of March 2022. Not a great game. Was this any more interesting on the coach back? I really got to have a good read through on the way back. It's sort of the boring the game sort of put me in the mood to read this, and it didn't improve that much, unfortunately. But I don't want to give too much away, of course. So we've still got Watford at the top at the moment. You got 8 out of 10, and Newcastle also got an 8 out of 10. But obviously, I class Watford as slightly better. So they topped the away day programme chart. So it didn't look that good for me, let's say, looking through it on the way back from Crystal Palace, but I did actually have a good read when I was more awake the following day. So let's have a look what's in this. Let's have a look what we've got. To entertain us, please push that subscribe button, push that bell notification, and please, if you can, give us a thumbs up today if you enjoy what I try and do with these regular features. Not the most watched vlogs I do, of course. These programme watches are very specific, aren't they? But I try and do a wide range of stuff, as you know. So hopefully I try and give a little bit of information, try and entertain if I can as well, if there's anything funny in it. A couple of little quiz questions as well, so that'll keep your minds active as well. So we'll get to them as we go through it. So yeah, I had a flick through it. A nice compact layout. Nothing exciting. Nothing's fizzy or zingy or exciting in the magazine. If you're looking at a magazine, it's very bland, very straightforward. Not wordy at all. Not many words to the page, which can be a plus because obviously sometimes you just want to have a quick read of something, but it can also be a negative because sometimes you want a bit more information. It's £3.50, which is standard. There's been the odd £4 this season, but it's only 76 pages, so it's actually down on actual page content. So I flicked through it, said it was nice and compact. We start with old Patrick Vieira, of course. He got good memories of City, so he talks briefly about that. It doesn't to go into any great shakes on it, which I might have found more interesting, even for a Palace fan, might be more interested about his time there and what he did. But basically, it's talking about the results they've had recently and the recent FA Cup result, which put them, of course, as well, like us in the quarter-final. And it obviously hoping for a positive result in the same way they got one at the Etihad back in at the start, nearer the start of the season. I'm not sure when it was now. I've lost track. Probably November time. I'm not too sure. Then you get Milivojevic. I don't know how to say his name, guys. You know me in pronunciations. Milivojevic. I feel there's an easy way of saying that. He's a captain. Totally similar thing to what Vieira is saying, so a bit of a waste of a page, really. And then you get Steve Parish chipping in the chairman. He has his own little ice and does sort of cover the ground the other two have done, but at least there's a couple of other things he adds to it as well about links with the Lord Mayor and a campaign that they're doing at the moment, stuff like that. So it's okay, but as I said, you've literally got three guys talking very similar plaudits and saying very similar things. Excuse me. Will Hughes, is the main interview. Will Hughes, and talks about what made him the player he is today and what Vieira asks of him to do in the matches. And then he goes on to pick a little section. He picks out his 4 favourite sportsmen. So here's the first little quiz for you. I'll give you, obviously, there's 4 answers to this. So can you guess? He's picked someone from football who was an ex-Liverpool midfielder that he looked up to when he was growing up. So you think who that might be. Of course, English, so that'll help. A boxer, I think he's a United fan, but he's got a very good name for a boxer. Obviously, a nickname, of course, but... there's a boxer he picks who's a United fan. I think he's a United fan anyway, I think. A tennis player, a very famous left-handed tennis player. I think he's still playing, but he'll be knocking on a bit now. And a golfer whose name has something to do with the sport he plays. So yeah, there's 4 things, guys. Have a think if you can think of all those are. I'll give you who his 4 favourite sportsmen are at the end of this. And then it's a City bit, including a boot in both camps. Touches on Eddie McGoldrick. Yeah, remember that name. I don't remember his playing that much, but I do remember him, of course. Recent form of City, brief pen pictures, of course, of all the players. About 7 pages. And then you do get a City Palace thing with a stat pack, which is a bit like head-to-head in the City programme, which looks at compares Joachim Andersen with the Aymeric Laporte pass. Just for instance, pass accuracy. Anderson is 81%, Aymeric Laporte's 90%. So lots of little stats like that. Club legend, Darren Ambrose, yes, I have heard of him. Looks at the matchup between Palace and City tactically and just looks forward to it, which is nice. That's not too bad. I quite enjoyed a little read of that. A nice piece where Palace actually give over a page to aspiring journalists, if you like, young guys. Obviously, they link it with the COVID situation, and journalists find it hard to get work now. And they just give a little page over this time to a Mohammed Rguyeg. So I'm not even going to try and pronounce that, guys. My apologies. Well, it's Mohamed. Sorry, Mohmed. I can't get that right. Sorry, Mohamed. So a little, but it's good. It's good. He does a little. He's doing a little piece interviewing two or three guys as well. So that's a nice touch. I like that. It's quirky. It's different, which you don't see in any other football programs. And a big 7 pages on the academy. Yeah, so that's interesting. There's some of their prospects there. So whether I'm sure that's just a one-off. There's no real thing for the women in this that I can see. There's some stats for the women, but so I'm sure they move that around depending on the game and who they're playing. So I'm sure they don't allocate 7 pages to the academy every issue of this. Voices of South London, yeah, another okay one. But it looks at people who work at Palace behind the scenes, which other clubs do. We do it ourselves, and it looks at Demi Chef Departie, talking about her role from being an apprentice to what she does now and what she does for the club and the players, etc. Another good touch. This is what I like about it. At least Palace try and add a little bit of difference to the match day programme. They've got a non-league day thing, and it's a look at 4 non-league sides, which they've been following all season, according to the report. And they encourage fans, of course, to go out and support the local team when Paris aren't playing. Palace aren't playing. And that's just a nice touch. Again, just encouraging obviously to cover these 4 non-league, and gives the times of the games they're playing and where they're playing. So that's a nice touch from Crystal Palace. Moment in Time has 2 full-page images of action, so it's literally just 1 picture of action from 2 City Palace games from history. The 2nd of February 85 one, which I covered in my History Boys, so please have a check out of that. And of course, the January 2020 game at the Etihad with City and Palace. So that's all right, but just two sort of page pictures, nothing more in depth than that, with a brief heading on it. Darren Powell Archive, so he's your history guy there at Palace. He looks back at Palace history, and he's looking back at the 2003-2004 promotion season. Interesting season for us, wasn't it? The first one at the Etihad as well. And again, back to history. Peter Manning, 1861. It's called. Apparently, they can trace their roots back to 1861. Palace, so they have got a claim to be the oldest football club, as opposed to certain other team or another team that I know that have claimed it. So in their apparent 160-year history, it looks at the Crystal Palace Company, one of the formations of this back in the day, and a long gone Crystal Palace Cricket Club as well. So that's very good. You know me, I like my history, so that was interesting. And I assume he does similar things every issue of this programme. They have a little quiz which is aimed at kids mainly, but it's test the guys as well. And there's also a guess the ground, which I did get, which was quite easy. So I'll stick a picture up there. You can have a look at it. I think most of you should get that. If you don't, but I'll tell you at the end with that other question I asked you as well. I'll tell you that. So in conclusion, it's all right. As I say, just that flick through sort of gave me a view of this programme. I wasn't overly optimistic. On City against Palace, there's very little. Obviously, you got your City pen picks, which obviously City fans know anyway, most of the stuff. And we've got some images, of course, on those 2 past games. and obviously players that have played for both, and so that head-to-head. But nothing fantastic with the City pen picks and the head-to-head. Nothing great. It's just okay. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. No worse than what we do and ours, but it's nothing fantastic. And everything else, really, it's, as I said, just the quirky stuff like the non-league stuff and the aspiring journalists, giving them a page, which is a really nice effort. I think City could do something like that, just to be a little bit different. And of course, my favourite is possibly the history piece, as I said, the 1861 thing and the roots of Palace, stuff like that, which is always appeals to me anyway, which doesn't appeal to everyone else, but does appeal to a neutral reader as a City fan as well. So for a City fan, not great. Probably if you're just looking at City linked things, it probably take you 10 or 15 minutes to read through it at most. If you're interested in a bit more history about Palace, then perhaps a little bit longer. But overall, sadly, for this magazine, the sort of early signs of it not being full of stuff come true, and I'd have to give it my minimum score, which is I won't give anyone less than 6 out of 10. I appreciate the fact of putting these magazines together, so I'm going to give it 6 out of 10. But of the guys who've got 6 out of 10, which there are a few. At the bottom, we've got Peterborough, which is dead at the bottom. Then Southampton, then Swindon Town. But I'm going to put Palace next, so just below Villa. So the little table will be up there. So there's a few teams getting the bang average 6 out of 10. Seems to be a lot less effort going into some of the match day programs this season. Do we know why? I'm not too sure, but anyway, I won't put. They're not at the bottom, but I'll put them fourth bottom, so not the greatest match day programme, but it is what it is, as we say, don't we, guys? That's a very old saying. And the questions, here we go. Will Hughes, his 4 favourite sportsmen, of course, was footballer was Steven Gerrard, if you guessed that one. His boxer was Tyson Fury, who I said I think he's a United fan, isn't he? But obviously, I don't think that's his real name, is it? Unless he's had it changed by Dean Paul. I have no idea. I have no idea about the guy. I've seen him, but I have no real interest. Tennis player was, of course, Rafael Nadal. So did you get that one? And the golfer, who matches his sport. Well, obviously, could only be Tiger Woods, couldn't it? It could only be that at the end. And guess the ground, yes, of course, that's Valley Parade. I do love the Valley Parade. I do love the size of those, the 2 stand compared to the other ones. I do like that sort of mishmash. And as in Main Road, I like when Main Road was demolished, obviously that style of Main Road, and even before then, I did enjoy the quirkiness of the different style stands, which some people thought wasn't good, and I just like it. And I think Valley Parade, I like that as well. I like the design of that. So anyway, I'm a fool. I don't know. Anyway, if you got Bradford, well done. Thanks for watching this, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know any comments you've got if you're a programme collector or you read through these things. Hope and say if you do fancy. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with a programme. It's a memory at the end of the day, and that's what a class programme's had. So even if it doesn't score very well, it's still well worth the effort, well worth purchasing just for the actual memories that it supplies in the programme itself. Thanks for watching, guys. We're going to do the rest of the day. Have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families. More importantly, let's all look after each other. Till we meet here again, hopefully, on the Citizen channel. I only ask one thing, don't I? Please stay safe, Blues. Come on, City. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.